Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's just get this off. Let's put some music on while I was trying to fix some things. Hope everyone is doing good this morning or this evening, wherever you are in the world. Now, for today's AMA, we've got a few good questions on our Reddit, which is very exciting. So let me just stop this music. Hopefully everyone hears me all right. And we're going to have a couple of our team members on today as well. So we've got Dave and Joey, who are waiting on a Discord, which I'll add them in soon. So hang on a minute. I've just got to adjust the volume so that way you guys will be able to hear them when they jump on and still be able to hear me. So hopefully you'll still be hearing me all right. For some reason, OBS won't let me pull the side chat out, so I won't be able to actually type in the chat. Today, as always, whenever I live stream, there seems to be some kind of technical difficulty. All right, let's get this show on the road. If my microphone stand would just stay and not fall, that'd be good. All right, here we go. Get some people in the chat. Good to see, good to see. Get some people show up. It's always very nice. All right, let me switch over to the Reddit questions. All right. So let's get let's just get the guys in, because I was going to do this first. I was going to go through the Reddit questions first and then get the guys on, but we might as well get the guys in on the call as well. So let's switch over here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Ah, you're live. Radio. Let's switch over to the display. So hopefully everyone else, let us know if you can hear Dave and Joey, who've just joined us. So we're all in our Discord chat. Hopefully the audio is all good. Let's switch over to our Reddit questions. All right. So for those who don't know, we've got Dave, who is our communications guy. He helps out a lot in the Telegram, helps with a lot of people who have a lot of questions, but also helps us with, putting together bits and pieces and how to word things. He's a really good proofreader. And we got Joey, who's our community manager for the American side. So he's, again, really, really helpful with helping out during the American time zones. And if you can't tell already by their accents, they're both American. So welcome, guys.
Sorry, guys. Well, I'll try to be more Australian next time.
Good fun. All right, so hopefully everything's all good. Yep, everything sounds good. Let us know, chat, if we're all good. Yep, you guys can hear him. Cool. All right, let's just make sure this is all set up properly. All right, okay. So on the screen today, we have our lovely Reddit. And today, we actually have questions. Which is bloody exciting. Woohoo! And we've actually got some good ones, eh? All right, so you guys have also got the Reddit up, yeah, I'm guessing, on your screens? Or you guys just watching the stream?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so going through, we have our first questions, I should say. And these are really good ones, so thanks, Captain D's, for these ones. They're really, really important. I had a bit of a look through last night before I went to bed. And we'll go through them again now. All right, so these are the questions that he wants to put in as a new investor, which are quite reasonable. So first question here is, what are you going to do to differentiate yourself from the influx of passive income tokens? So he asks here that there are a lot of new projects coming in, and there's a lot of ones that say, we're deflationary or hyper deflationary. We give out BUSD or other rewards. And then you've also got the meme coins and things like that. So first off, I guess, we're not a meme coin. We are designed, we've rebranded months ago from getting away from all that to being an altcoin. So we want to obviously stand out as our own independent coin. Now, and you guys can help me out here, obviously, as well. But with the influx of passive income tokens, they are a big thing. They certainly do have a sales gimmick behind them, but we haven't designed this token as a gimmick. You know, we haven't designed this as a thing where it's like, oh yeah, hey, like let's just flow with the trend of what's pumping right now with these passive income tokens, and then just get a whole bunch of people buying in and then just, you know, rip them off, because that's what a lot of these other tokens have been doing. What we've done is we've designed it properly so that it gives you that passive income, but it's going to be for a long term. So we haven't designed something that's basically crap, right? And with what we've got is we've got the economy going, where, and as our investors have already seen, is that we've got that BUSD percentage on buys, right? But there's a higher reward from the sells. So in most cases with these deflationary or with these other tokens, is that they only have that one set percentage. So you only earn that flat rate reward, whether you buy or sell. And so obviously it becomes like a disincentive really for people not to hold and not to you know, hold that investment and to keep wanting to earn that passive income, because they're like, oh, well, I just spend my profit. Yeah, I get a bit of passive income, but then I can just also cash out and move on to the next thing, right? Whereas for us, we've added that disincentive, right, to sell, because people have got to realize that, hang on a minute, if I do sell out, then, you know, a lot of my profits are actually going back to everyone in the form of BUSD. And so that's what we've seen, right? Like we've seen where someone came along, what was it, last week? And they just came and they deliberately tried to pump and dump. They came into the chat and they were like, oh, a pump's coming. And they threw in all this money and they hyped everyone up in the Telegram chat. And then, you know, other people bought in on top. So they got it pumping. And then they said some crappy FUD thing. And then they dumped. But when they dumped, I think, what did they lose? They lost like $6,000, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the post fee. I think everything all in, it was like closer to 8K. I mean, it wasn't pretty.
It was good for us. It was good for, I would say, us, for all the investors. Yeah. And that's how and that's one of the benefits of having a system and having a two-tiered fee system as well. So instead of having a blanket lazy, we'll just make every number identical. And that's also a coding thing too. It takes, you know, like our devs worked on it, and it's not easy to have to set it up where you have a buy and sell fee at two different levels. Because it does, I mean, we had so many issues going through with the testing too. That's why it took us a while to actually get it going as well, because there were so many things that kept breaking in the testing system where it's like, okay, well, now we've fixed this problem. And it's like, but hang on, now we've got another problem. And it was just a constant thing for about a month straight, where it was just like we fix one thing and then we had to fix something else, and, you know. And so that whole process is something, like I said, you won't see in other tokens. And if you go on even Token Sniffer, you'll see that we don't have any, it doesn't come up with any other smart contracts that are like us. The box is blank, right? And so that's where when that guy dumped, like everyone who was holding BODA was just living the dream that day. Like, I don't know, I think some people got like a few $100s, like each. Like it was just nuts. All right, so I think that covers. Right, so the second question is how we're going to promote ourselves. So we've already been promoting ourselves. The good thing is to, especially in our Telegram, even our Discord, because we've got the announcement channel where the bot does automatically repost things in Discord. Whereas on Telegram, we've only got the one bot that does that for Twitter. Everything else we just manually share. But with Telegram, we've got our alerts channel. So our alerts channel is basically, you know, our announcements channel. And so everything that goes in there with the promos, important news, you know, with YouTube's articles, things like that have come out and that will keep coming out in the future, they're in there. So if people get stuck or people like, you know, What are you doing to promote when marketing and all those questions? You've got to go and just open your eyes. You've got to go and find that information that we're putting out there. And as much as we can repeat the information and keep repeating and keep forwarding messages and, keep copy pasting and going, look, here's the post, here's the article, here's the influencer post, things like that. I mean, I'd like to think most people can appreciate the fact that we, especially those of us on the team, we don't have the time to keep doing that because it takes away from us doing our jobs in the back end and trying to build and trying to work on other things to, build on this project and keep doing better for everyone else and every other holder that's here. And so the more time that we were spending having to repeatedly answer the exact same questions that we get almost every single day about when marketing or when's the promo, when did you promote, when did you get an influencer to promote your stuff? Like, it's in the announcements channel, So with that one, we're doing it. It's a constant thing. Promotion with any business, and you guys Dave and Joey would also know as well, is that it's an ongoing process. You don't just do a massive promo blast and then go silent, right? Like you don't do that for any business. It's an ongoing marketing process, and with things like timing as well. You've got to pick the right times to do marketing as well. There's no point doing lots and lots of marketing when people aren't interested. When there's times of crypto when people aren't interested, right? Like there was times where in September when everything was dipping and people were like, crypto's dead. Like when that happens, people aren't looking at crypto Twitter. They're not looking at places to buy crypto and stuff. They're just not. So then that's when we focus on, the fundamental stuff and obviously the community stuff and just getting out there and doing the grassroots promoting. And the grassroots, I hate to say the word, but shilling. And then when everything's, pumping again, that's when we obviously throw out the big stuff. Anything you guys want to add to that?
I think that the most important thing about marketing is that there's only so far that we can take it as a team, right? We obviously we can stick money into it. We can try to promote the best we can, and we've seen some amazing results from that. I'm not discounting that at all. I think it's really important to point out that the more people tell other people, the better off we're going to be in the long run. So if you have friends that invest and you're kind of on the fence about telling them about it, that kind of thing, the odds are the person that asked this question, and I don't know exactly who it is, but odds are they were told by somebody else about BODA, right? And the more we can keep that energy going, and also when we post things in the chat, like, hey, go to this Twitter post. There's one right now to go comment on David Gokhstein's. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. His Twitter, right? It's like when you see that in the Telegram, you see that in the Discord, like hop on it. Take 10 seconds if you have a Twitter account. If you don't register one, they're free. Just take the second and type something, post a meme, say, just a hashtag BODA, just anything. The more of that excitement that we can get going, the better it's going to be for everyone. So yeah, our marketing plan is two-pronged. One is to do some of that traditional marketing like we're talking about, and like what Billy was saying, and then also encouraging our holders to get out there and speak on our behalf. Screenshots. Pull a screenshot of your BUSD, send it to somebody, and say, I earned this today because I invested this much in this token, and this is how much I earned yesterday, and here's how much I earned the day before. I think that's a really important factor as well.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very good. See, this is why he's our communications guy. He has the right things to say. Yeah.
I was going to say, not only that, but the grassroots communications with each individual community member and getting the word out, that's a lot less expensive than paying a promoter. So cost is a huge factor in advertising, as it's usually not inexpensive.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing with our marketing budget as well, because, we are definitely taking a small portion of fees. We're taking like 1.5% of the buy and sell fees to go towards marketing. But every time, if we're going to sell those funds, that's, funds that are also for the community. So we've got to be wise in how we spend that money, because that money also belongs to the community. So it's not just money that's for the team to spend, but we've got to think about every other BODA token or BODA V2 holder, and what's the wisest way to spend that money. And it's also about that whole ROI, like return investment thing, right? So if we just piss the money up the wall that doesn't get us anything back and doesn't get us any new buyers in, then we've just wasted money, and we've wasted the funds that, especially people buying in, are obviously handing to us, right, in the fees. So we've got to be smart about that. And I think we are. I think we have been. I mean, I think the results, we can go through the charts later on today, but I think the charts are looking pretty good, just me personally.
Yeah, I've been looking at charts for a long time, and I'm amazed. Like, I expected it to be a little, like a little more of a struggle, to be honest. And it just seems, I'm not saying that we haven't worked real hard, but I'm just saying, like, it's our community is amazing, and every time we see a dip, it's like, oh man, and then all of a sudden it gets eaten up real fast. It's very exciting.
Oh, it's amazing. And yeah, like I said, our community's just been freaking awesome, hey? Like, absolutely awesome. And they've stuck by us since April, which is the greatest thing. Which actually is a bit of a segue, I guess, to the next question. Because the third question is, how are you going to ensure that this isn't a pump and dump or a rug pull or a scam? So for those who've been with us since V1, the beginning, we launched that. Oh, what's that? I didn't launch that. The other dev that's not with us, they launched that in April. And then, we then sort of jumped on and decided to manage that because the first team abandoned that project. And so we've taken on V1 with our own money, right? Because there was no team funds or anything with that. And then we kept working on it since April to try and build apps and things on that. And we've been spending our own money on it. And, obviously after a while, as everyone in the community who's been with us since April knows, is that with a locked smart contract and everything like that, we couldn't do anything with it, unfortunately. And so this is where we've just had to go, well, all right, well, let's make a V2, And the community were happy with that, and they said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so this is where we are now. And if we've been around since April, and yes, this new one, the V2, is only 3 weeks old, but I'd like to think it already shows, I'm a big believer, obviously, in walk the walk, not talk the talk. And I'd like to think that since being here since April, and if anyone understands managing a cryptocurrency token, and if anyone even has a clue of what goes on in the back end, being here, April, so October, so 6 months now. I mean, it's not, it's not a walk in the park. It's not something that, you can just throw up. And when I say throw up, like, you can throw up repeated copy-paste codes and launch tokens every single day if you wanted to and scam people. Sure, you can do that. And that's what people do, which is what people are scared of, right? Because understandably, this is where this question is coming from. But when you're actually doing something serious and you're working on it for even 6 months, like, that's, that's where all that effort goes into. Like, this is a 7-day-a-week job. Like, doing crypto doesn't stop. There is no stop button on the market. Like, there's no weekends. Like, with the stock market, they have Sundays off and public holidays off. Crypto is 24/7, 7 days a week. And so you could just imagine, working on something. Like, imagine having a job where there's no breaks. You could try and sit down, have lunch, and then your phone goes ding, 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 ding. Oh, shit, like, we've got all these other crap going on. Oh, crap, something else has come up. Oh, well, guess I'm not having lunch today. And so, you do that and, like, multiply that by, like, 6 months. I mean, I don't know. I'm not having a whinge, but because what we've got now is amazing. But that's just an insight of, the effort that we're putting in. The effort that not just us, but other crypto developers put in and other crypto teams put in. And so that's, again, we'll walk the walk and only time will tell. But, I'm very confident and I know that I can trust the team as well that, we're not the type of people who scam and rug. A lot of us, I think most of us on the team actually have been victims of rugs and scams. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's actually, I've said this before a few times, not on the AMAs, of course, but I actually invested in BODA originally because I had just gotten rug pulled by a couple of different tokens and was real frustrated. And so when a friend of mine told me about BODA, I was like kind of sketch about it. And I was like, I don't know. But I figure I'll go watch their, I'll go watch the AMA, and I saw the first AMA that Billy did, and it was amazing because he like goes into detail. You guys can go back and watch it. It's on the same YouTube channel. He goes through and shows you how to find scams in BSC scan, like how to do that, like how to go look for tokens that are probably going to rug, and some different tools that he uses to figure that out when he's investing. And I'm like, anybody who is scammer isn't going to show you how to detect scams, right? So I was like, okay, I'll throw some money in, and, and then I started doing the whale reports and I ended up on the team. But it's a funny story, but it kind of demonstrates that, we've been here a while. I joined the team in July. Billy's been here all the way since back in April. So to answer the question, how do we ensure it isn't a pump and dump? It is a new version of BODA, but we've been here for months and months and months. And, we sent everyone who had the BODA tokens, we sent them over to Billy, blind faith, and, to seed the V2 development. And he could have easily ran off with them, and he didn't. And that's all the proof I needed, But I understand when somebody's a new investor, it's like, oh, I don't know about this. Go back and watch that first AMA. I challenge you. And I've already said enough. It's pretty great.
I would agree with you, Dave. Also, we're all doxxed. All of our names are on the website. So that's a little bit more padding against rug pulling.
Yeah, you're right. Most of us, not all of us, but most of us have our ugly mugs on our website now. So
yeah, and sorry for that. You have to see my face.
Oh man, they're gonna see all our faces. We eventually.
My mom always said I had a face for radio.
Oh yeah, well that's why we haven't got webcam on, right? We'll get there
maybe one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. One of these days we'll get a webcam on. All right.
When I get that pepper.
Oh yeah. Actually, for those who are tuning in and don't know the backstory, inside joke of that is that Joey said if we drop a 0, he'll eat a ghost chili?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joey has to commit to that now. So he's ordered his ghost chili, and then he'll do we'll do like a live thing, or he'll pre-record it and we'll post up. We still haven't quite figured that out, but if we do a live thing, it'll be an American time zone anyway. So, but we'll figure that out when we get to it. But your chili's on the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be here today, but yeah, didn't get delivered though.
Oh, it's all right. We got something to do during the week, and something for everyone to look forward to.
More planning.
All right, so we got the next question. So thank you again to Captain D's for your very, very structured, very well written questions. And they're good questions that hopefully other investors, other people looking and watching the AMA today or the recap, which we'll have in our channel, will be able to go through that. All right, so pardon me. The next question from Smart Anteater 8455. Excellent and very clear project. One small question. When is the first buyback and burner tokens planned? So with this, we've put in for every quarter, which is every 3 months. So since we launched on the 22nd of September, maths would take that to December, right? So, yeah, correct. 22nd of December, just before Christmas. That'd be a nice Christmas bonus. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. All right. That'll be our first one. Ideally, when we do get more volume and we get way more trading, we will have a lot more. So the reason why originally we planned to do a quarterly buyback and burn is just that it gives you an ample amount of time for the collection. So there's a 1.5% from each of the fees that goes into our wallet that we hold on to for that quarter. And then we go, all right, this is how much BODA V2 we've got. Okay, now we know exactly how much we've got to then send to the burn. And then with the wallets as well, they're going to be earning BUSD rewards as well. So then we can use the rewards that the wallet has to also go, all right, well, if there's a few $1,000s, or again, like with our volume and stuff, the more that we keep growing, if we've got tens of $1,000s in there, we can go, right, we're going to spend that BUSD to buy back V2. So buy more of the V2. And so when we do that as well from those wallets are just like any other person's wallets, like they're not excluded from fees or anything. So every buy that we do from that 6% is going to go back to everyone as a reward. So when we do those buybacks, it's almost like we're also giving everyone else in the community a bonus. So at the moment, we've planned it for quarterly, so that every quarter that we do the buyback, right? And then that will initially too, when we do those buybacks, yes, you'll see a price jump straight away because we've done that buy-in, right? And then everyone also gets a little bit of a bonus flush from the dividends when we do that. Then when we send the tokens that we've collected over time, plus the new ones that we bought, we'll send them to the burn wallet, and they'll be totally out of supply. You can't get those back. Whatever's in that burn wallet is a dead wallet. You can never, ever get those back. And we'll go through this because we're going to show off our green paper, which is our version of the white paper, but we're going to show that off after we get through these questions. But we'll go into more, a little bit more detail into that, about how, if that's going to work or what kind of effects it has. But basically, to answer this question, right, is when we do that and we want to do it in a planned way, because if we have an automatic system where a lot of these deflationary tokens do, where they do it automatically, eventually you get to zero. And a token that has zero supply, how do you trade that, right? How do you go, well, hang on, now there's only one token and there's 20,000 people that have got a fraction of one, and they're all trying, are they going to try and trade it? Is there going to be supply demand for that? Are people going to be wanting to buy 0.00001th of a token? It's just, in my mind, I think that is not going to work. And I think that's the biggest risk with a lot of those auto burning tokens. That's my personal opinion, is that eventually they're going to get to a point where their supply is just so extremely low that the supply and demand, the psychological supply and demand of people, investors, are going to be like, what the crap? Now I've got a token I don't even have a token. I have 0.000, you know what I mean? Whereas I think if you still have a number, and if you still have a number, like even with Bitcoin right now, right? Like even people holding one Bitcoin, that's still like worth a lot of money. And the end supply of Bitcoin is going to be 21 million, but I think right now it's at what, like 18 or 18.5 million or something circulating supply at the moment with Bitcoin. But you know what I mean? Like there's a supply and demand thing, and it still makes sense because there's still whole numbers. There's still big numbers that people can get. So, but that's my personal opinion on auto burning stuff. I don't know if you guys have any other input on this question.
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty simple question. All right, cool. Thanks, Traditional Field. Great project. Never seen rewards like this. Same here, buddy. Same here. I mean, like Dave was saying earlier too, I mean, we're a bit shocked at a lot of the results that we've got going on. But it is, it's crazy to have something on paper, but to have it actually implemented and then seeing it work is a whole nother thing. I mean, I don't have kids, but I guess like for like Dave and Joey have kids. So I guess it might be similar to having a kid. It's like, we have this squishy little bean that we don't know what's it gonna do.
It's gonna break shit. No, I'm just kidding. That's what my kid does. Nah, he's amazing. He's wonderful. I love my little buddy. He's so great.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess we did have teething problems in the testing phase, but that's what testing phases are for.
That's the testing phase is for. That's
yes.
right.
Hey, and every parent secretly wishes that their kid will make back the investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very good. Yes. after a while, after they go to school and everything. All right. So next question. Next question is from Sweetie. Oh, is that persimmons? Oh, that's hilarious because I've been thinking about growing persimmons, but that's a totally different subject. But all right, is that persimmons? Yeah.
Yeah. Same difference.
Same difference.
Potato.
Potato.
I've got persimmons on my counter upstairs. As a matter of fact, fresh ones, garden picked, delicious.
Oh, very good, very good. All right. Also, we will go through the chat questions because I am seeing a few questions in the chat. So we'll go through them.
I wrote down the questions. Yeah.
Oh, very good, very good, very good. See, this is why we have a team, because then they can do stuff that I just forget to do. So we've got what are the yield farm plans? We will touch on this when we go through our green paper. So we'll put that question on pause, because then it'll save us from repeatedly answering the same thing again. So let's put that question on pause, and we'll go through it a bit more when we go through our green paper / white paper. All right. But thanks, Sweaty Persimmon, for that one, and we'll answer your question in a few minutes once we get through the rest of these. All right. So Sharon's my name. Oh, Sharon's your name. Hi, Sharon. I bought BODA V2 coin at Pancakeswap. My Trust wallet only shows the amount of coins that I purchased but doesn't list the worth. How do I find this info? All right, now Polymer Guru has also jumped in and answered that one for those who can see on the screen. Now, this is a question that comes up a lot, and we understand, it's understandable when you go into Trust Wallet and you look at your tokens and you're like, oh, I can see how much it's worth. So you're like, oh, okay, well now, whatever I've got in there is now worth a few $1,000s or $10,000, etc., etc. Okay, so while that is a good thing, and I can understand why people say too, well, people will get hesitant buying on Trust Wallet or going through Trust Wallet if there's no dollar value. The thing is, it's psychological. At the end of the day, it's all psychological. When you use Trust Wallet, for example, you still have to go through, at the moment, you still have to go through a DEX. Actually, correction, anything on Trust Wallet, you have to go through a DEX, right? So you still have to connect to Pancakeswap or Uniswap or SushiSwap or 1 inch or whatever else is in there. Now, when you use those swap dexes, they're not telling you what the dollar amount is. They're telling you what the swap amount is. So they're telling you, all right, so 1 BNB equals X amount of tokens, right? Or 1 Ethereum equals X amount of tokens. They're not telling you that it equals, X amount of dollars or whatever. In some cases, the bigger ones on like Uniswap, I think I might be wrong. I don't know. I can't even remember off the top of my head with Pancakeswap, but I know a lot of the major large cap ones might have prices in brackets. But a lot of the tokens that you're purchasing with Trust Wallet, especially on Binance Smart Chain, they've got no dollar value in the swap anyway. If you want to, in my personal opinion too, like if you want to look at prices, we've got so many other charting websites, and this is just quickly, like I'm going to go through this later on. I want to go through this in the AMA as well as a separate thing. But right now in this question, right? So we've got Livecoin Watch, for example, which I personally like to use. And you can just punch in like a bunch of BODA, right? So let's say you go through and you put in like 1 trillion BODA. So 1 trillion BODA right now is almost worth $3,000. So that's how you can work it out. I think you can also, so you can go to PooCoin charts, I believe, and you can connect your wallet there, and it should give you an estimate.
That's what I use.
Yeah, right. So it gives you an estimate. Now, just as a bit of a disclaimer on all these ones, though, is that they're not 100% accurate. There will be slight differences. Can't say the big word on that one. There'll be slight differences, and they'll be out by maybe $1 or something. But that's also no different to CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. If you ever go to the two of them and you price two different tokens, they'll be slightly out as well. Because all these charting websites, they run from APIs, and even though it's computer coding and it's zeros and ones or whatever they do, it's still not perfect. Now, again, going back to that Trust Wallet question, in order to have the amount shown up, so we need to qualify for one of two things. We either need CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, because that's what Trust Wallet uses as their pricing API. It's a bit of a thing with Trust Wallet where they are a little bit tied in to picking favorites in a way. They only use CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap as their price APIs. Since 2017 now, or 2018, there have been an explosion of charting websites. There is no excuse for Trust Wallet not to integrate other charting websites API whatsoever. There is no excuse. They just do it because they've got their own means behind it, right? And it's all a network thing, but I won't go into that because that'll be a long-winded thing. So we need to get on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, whatever first. We're projected to get on CoinMarketCap once we get our CertiK audit, which we'll talk about again later on today in the AMA. Now, the other thing with Trust Wallet, though, again, something I'm personally not a fan of is they've actually increased the minimum holder amount. So now they require 5,000 holders minimum for you to kind of qualify to get your data on there and to get your logo and, again, the price API data. Now, it's a known fact, especially for those who develop cryptocurrencies, it's a very well-known fact that you can actually just randomly airdrop tokens, and you can even just airdrop one token to random unsuspecting wallets just to inflate your holder count. So there's a lot of tokens that come out and they'll just find a list. So let's say you go to SafeMoon's list and there's like a billion, or not a billion, there's like millions of holders, right? And they can just download the first 1,000 wallets or something off BSC Scam, and they can just go and airdrop like 1,000 wallets, and they can just go, we'll just airdrop one token each. And that doesn't cost them, it will cost them gas, but it doesn't cost them financially in the sense that their one token is probably worth nothing. So, and people are not going to really, unless they check their BSC scan, really notice that they've got wallets. And I'm sure most of us here have received random airdrops of like shitty random coins that have no value and no worth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's what they do. And then you look at these tokens too, and you're like, holy crap, they've got like, 100,000 or 200,000 holders. But what have they done? And then you start to dig deep and you realize that this is what these tokens do, is that they fake their holders. And so one thing that I'm a big, and the rest of the team are big on, right, is not faking the system. We're not going to just randomly drop tokens into unsuspecting wallets just to inflate the holder number. Because it also brings no benefit to us as well. If we have, let's say when we inflated the number and we randomly dropped one BODA token to 5,000 wallets just so we could get the qualification for Trust Wallet, that holder number doesn't actually give us any real value, because we might have over 5,000 holders, but then how many of them are real, right? And that's where you get lost in the numbers as well. Because we're going to go, well, you've got over 5,000 holders, but then if, say, 90% of them are fake because you've dropped them to unsuspecting wallets, then when it comes to actual trading, right, how do you know, like, what's the real trading? Whereas what we've got now, I think we're up to like 640 or something holders or something. I probably should double check.
They're all real people.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. They're real holders. So we know that it's real money and it's real BNB, it's real, trade that's happening. And so at least from a team perspective too, when we do the auditing and we go through the back end of it, we can be like, okay, so now we know that we have this many holders, and then we've got, this price and all this sort of other stuff going on. And I think personally too, like if I was an investor and from a risk management perspective as well, if you look at that and you go, okay, well, if this were to bottom out or, to sell out, well, then there would need to be 640 people or 640 wallets, right, that are controlled by people that need to sell out versus 5,000 or more wallets. And to me, that'd be like, holy crap, if 5,000 people just sold out right now, like the coin, the whole thing would just be destroyed, like in comparison to what the price of the token is. But that's my opinion on that. Anyway, I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I think the same question was asked in the chat as well, and it was Velimir, and I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. Asked, or he basically said that his friends don't want to invest yet because they don't see the price in Trust Wallet, which I get, and in my opinion, personally, when I like I said in the chat, personally, when I see the price in Trust Wallet, it tells me I'm late to that token probably, like because right now, I mean, you get a whole lot more tokens, because if you look at the charts, we're headed in the right direction, and I would rather get in now than later. And I know that I got my friends in early for sure. So that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. Like, we're still early days. And again, if that's like, you look at that and you go, well, that's 600 odd, real investors, and the price is already at this point. Like, what's another 600 more going to do of real investors? That's very, at least to me, that's very simple maths. I like to think most people pass primary school. Are they?
Especially if they're on the blockchain.
yeah. Well,
that's funny you say that. The kind of an in joke with me and one of my good friends that is another investor is that, like, he's like, man, I just made X dollars, last night. This is so cool. And he's like, why doesn't everybody do this? And I'm like, do you remember what it was like the first time you tried to buy crypto? Like all the steps you had to go through, like all the, like it's complicated, man. That's why everybody doesn't do it, So yeah, I'd say that most people that are involved are already pretty smart.
It's that initial step, isn't it? Oh yeah. Sorry. Well, especially when you go, like it's just getting off that ledge. It's like anything in life. It's like riding a bike. As cliche as that sounds, it's like, the first time you try and do it, you're like, oh, what am I doing? You stumble, you fall, and then you get the hang of it, and then you go on the deep dive, and then next minute you're all over the place, like buying NFTs and all sorts of crap. So it's good fun though. All right, okay, I think that's
Slippery slope.
it's a very slippery slope. All right, okay. Thank you everyone for the questions. This is
We have one more question that came up in the it was in the chat.
Oh yeah.
What makes you better than Evergrow? And so I hadn't even heard of Evergrow until like a couple days ago. And I said Velamir's name right. Sweet. So Evergrow does have an 8% BUSD reward on buys and sells, which is a total of 16%. At least that's what I'm reading. I pulled up their white paper real quick and read through it. Well, I didn't read the whole thing. But ours is a little higher. That is one thing that's different. Also, if you're in BODA, you're in way earlier. Evergrow already has a market cap in the hundreds of millions, and we just cracked 2 million today. So it's early days here. So that would be another big difference. Also, I looked at their team. Their whole team isn't docs. There's a lot of Jim M, that kind of thing, or that kind of stuff. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know anything about them, and I don't ever want to talk trash about anybody else's token. I'm sure it's a wonderful investment, et cetera, et cetera. But it's and obviously nothing we say is financial advice. But to me, getting in earlier is better. That's always better. I regret not buying more of some things that took off. So.
Yeah, no, you're right there. So Evergrow is, I think, like you said, they're only 8% other side, and we don't want to there's no point trying to. It's a tricky slope too, like when you start to compare yourself to other tokens, because we're all in the same boat. We're all working hard. We're all trying to make our thing work. Yes, our tokenomics, and again, it's personal opinion, a lot better than what they've set up. But again, that's not trying to, like you said, like Dave said, we're not trying to trash talk them or anything, because it doesn't help. And it doesn't help in this environment where, like I've been trying to network and contact more like with other token projects and, make more friends in the space, because there's a lot of competition. I think there's like 88,000 or more tokens that released on Binance Smart Chain since the start of this year. So that's a lot. And granted, like a lot of them have rugged and scammed or whatever, but that's still a large portion of tokens out there that you got to compete with. So yeah, it's a lot easier to work in the space, I think, if you make friends versus trying to shit talk everything. But yes, understandably, people will come across obviously and try to compare. Oh, why is this better than that? X, Y, Z, because people like to compare things, especially us blokes. I think. I think we've. I don't know if we're just ingrained with it from birth or whether it's just a cultural thing, but us blokes like to compare things a lot. It's not to say women don't either, but yeah. All right. So just quickly going through the chat. Any more questions in the chat? We'll give it like a minute. I think the delay from my end anyway shouldn't be too bad. I know I set the latency down super, super low, so I just can't open the chat for some reason. I've broken bloody OBS again. Let's just watch the price. I've been thinking about like having the YouTube and just setting the price just 24/7, like on a live stream and see what happens. I've seen a few tokens do that before. It's a very double-edged sword though. See, I personally don't even honestly, I don't even look at the charts half the time, to be honest. The only time I know that we're going up is like when everyone's going nuts in Telegram.
That price spot's pretty nice though.
Yes. Was that ACX tools or ACY tools? I can't even remember off the top of my head. The dude's been really great to us too, because we had to, like, you have to buy that bot, but he's throwing in like the freebies of the extra links and stuff and things like that. And then when we changed to V2, he was like, yeah, easy. I'll just like change the contract API and stuff, so we didn't have to pay like to fix it again. All right, so
Dave.
Dave. Oh, yeah. See, I don't have Discord open. Okay. Dave disconnect. I don't know if his internet cut out. Do me a favor, Jojo. Can you DM him and just?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll just wait to see what's happened with Dave. But anyone else in the chat got any other questions while we're just chilling, waiting for Dave to come back? Sorry, I didn't realize he's disconnected because I don't have Discord open. Oh, internet cut out. All right, he'll be come back. He'll be joining back. Just watch this humble chart, shall we? Actually, while we're here, let's go to LunarCRUSH. So LunarCRUSH added us. Yay! Well, I had to apply to it, but very, very excited they added us. So what LunarCRUSH is, for those who don't know, it's a trending score rating, and it ranks your token off a whole bunch of metrics, which is including price, average sentiment, so market sentiment, but that comes from what's happening on social media, social impact, and then the correlation rank. So this is our Galaxy score. Hopefully it doesn't actually drop 59. Okay, 59. Cool. So obviously out of 100 is really awesome, right? So now we're on LunarCRUSH. It's tracking all our social metrics. So whenever our community is also out there, so not only from our Twitter that's plugged in. So if I scroll, okay, it's not the right page, but on our summary page, here we are. So right now it's tracking us as the most influential token. And if I open this bad boy up, and it takes a few minutes, or it shouldn't take that long to load, but it'll load. There we go. All right. So because we just got added, a few days ago, it'll go through and then it'll pick up, all right, what do we most talk about? So obviously we talk about a lot about BUSD and BODA, and then we've mentioned MDEX, DEX tools, Pancakeswap a few times. Now it goes through and it's looking for keywords. So it's looking for things like BODA. Now, what we're trying to do lately, because there has been a bit of confusion between the V1 and V2, and I don't know how this is happening, but some people still manage to find the V1 out there somewhere. So we've started using the hashtag BODAV2 just to try and make a whole new thing. So it'll be on, obviously, especially on Twitter, the hashtag, so it'll come up more often. But LunarCRUSH will track all this, right? So it's going to find all this. So for those who have Twitter, if you guys keep using the hashtags, so hashtag BODAV2, keep using the dollar. If you want to use the $ BODA, unfortunately you can't use the $ BODAV2 because the number 2 cuts it off. It doesn't work. But basically, LunarCRUSH will track a comparison of price movement versus social movement. So we get more metrics here. And when Dave comes back on, because he's back. Oh, welcome back. Welcome. There you go.
Back, yeah.
Okay.
It was Discord. I never lost the stream. It was Discord. Thanks,
okay.
Discord.
Thanks, Discord. We love you. All right. So I know Dave's a big fan of metrics. So he loves them. Now, this is great. So what this does is, being on LunarCRUSH, is it's going to give us more exposure. All right, and this is where the community comes in, and this is why, well, this is not the only reason why, but this is why a lot of us harp on to everyone to get on there, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, use hashtags, keep talking about BODA, and doing it from your own account so it's organic. Because when we come to sites like this, like LunarCRUSH, who actually track all this stuff, we get scores. So say if we get up closer to 100, right, like we're going to pop up on their front page. And then that's more people who see us, and more people are going to be like, oh, what's this token? And that's just free. That's free advertising right there. And all we've had to do is just tweet hashtags and stuff. Now, alt ranking. So this works in the opposite, where the lower number is the better. Okay. So currently, out of the 3,129 tokens that are listed on LunarCRUSH, we're sitting at a rank of 333, which personally I think is pretty damn good, especially since we just got listed like on the 12th. Oh, so like
Nice.
5 days ago. Yeah. So I think that's freaking awesome. Yes, price has a big impact on this score. If we had more volume, we'd have a better score. But the combination of our price increasing, the social score, and then the social volume, so the amount of content that's going out there, the amount of hashtags, the keywords being mentioned about BODA V2 and BODA, that's all combining to give us this score. And so we've dropped again. So we've dropped down 38 spots. So again, remembering that lower is better for the alt rank score. So in this, if you flipped it around, we actually moved up 38 spots, right? If that makes sense. So we're moving. I think when I checked last night, we're at like 418. So we're doing pretty good. Again, for all you guys who like data, you can go on here, scroll through. You can scroll through all this stuff. Because we are quite new and fresh on here, of course, this stuff's just going to look a bit janky right now. It should update eventually. We've got all our links on here. Oh, yeah, they added the banner. Oh, look at our ugly mugs. There we go. I've added the team on there. We've got a few more team members, but we just need to get their photos. So we've got those of us who have photos on here, and you can look at all that. So this, again, is really good. We've got our tutorial videos here. All right, so that's LunarCRUSH. Look at it.
And I just looked up, and we're not going to call out any names, but I just looked up the alt rank for a few other tokens that I've invested in the last 6 months, and we're already beating them. A couple of them that I've actually, so that's kind of cool.
So if we go,
I don't want to say any names, but yeah, so that's cool. That's nice to see.
Yeah, well, here
less
it is.
than a month in, you know.
So if we go to categories, so we can go to the front page. I wonder if because I put us as a DeFi coin as well. Yeah, see, these are big boy coins here. I'd be very, so the top 50. So we're not in the top 50 yet. But see, this is what people would look at, right? So other investors would be like, okay, well, let's have a look. Let's go to LunarCRUSH, see what's up. So if we ever got to this, especially this top 50 page, like that would be huge. Look at that. This Proton thing. It's a bloody new one that I've seen. Anyway, we're not going to promote other tokens on here. That's not what we're here for. Also on that, add us to your favorites. So go up there, press the little star icon, add us to your favorites, because I'm just assuming here that it probably helps us. You can add your little alerts and stuff too if you make an account and log in. You can connect via your social media accounts as well. I think Twitter and Google will let you plug in. Hi, hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's in the chat. Jeffrey's like, my photo's not up there.
Well, we have enough of your memes up, so I think we should stick one of his memes there. That'd be perfect.
Actually, speaking of memes, we have actually moved. Oh, memes! They're all really, really good. Who else is it? Richard? I think Richard's the other one that just keeps adding memes.
Oh my gosh, so many.
So
we love them. Keep them coming.
100%. So with the memes, we've got our Shilami channel. So we've decided just to keep throwing the memes and GIFs, however you want to say it, in there, so they just don't clutter up the main Telegram chat. And so feel free to join the Shilami Telegram group. We should have the link pinned, but we'll probably just have to repost it. Just join that, and then that way you can just go through, and then you can save the memes or save the GIFs, whatever you want to call them, and then use them on social media. I'm really loving making GIFs at the moment, and on a social aspect, they actually get more attention because people are like, ooh, shiny, because they move, right? So go out there, highly recommend, just save the GIFs, or make your own if you want. Okay, right, now, so topic is, should we go to our green paper or just quickly cover the dividend tracker website first?
Flip a coin. I love the dividend tracker. I can't quit looking at it.
All right, so let's go. Pardon me. So we have the dividend tracker website. Everyone who's holding BODA V2 at the moment knows about this already. For those of you who are new and are still tuning in, thank you for sticking around because there's still a lot more to go through. This is probably going to be one of our longer AMAs that we've done in a while. Now with this, we are updating it. So right now it's written in a different coding language, and our devs are upgrading it to React or React Node. So at the moment, you've got to paste your wallet address up here on desktop version, or if you're in the mobile version, you've got to press this little hamburger menu and you'll have it up there. Once we convert this into the React system, we'll actually be able to do a wallet connect. We'll have a manual button which should pop up around here. Okay, so we'll have a manual claim button. So basically you hit claim, your MetaMask will pop up and it'll go, oh, like, you know, do you want to authorize a claim? You'll have to pay a small gas fee. I think off the top of my head when I tested it, I think it was like 20 or 30 cents in gas fees to do a manual payout. Now that just means you'll skip the queue. So say if you've got a few BSD pending there and it says that you're in queue 200 of something or whatever, and you want the money now and you can't wait for the auto cycle, you can do that. This section is going to be displayed publicly. The devs are just having, again, technical issues. So this is why it says BUSD, but we're missing the number. But the number will come soon. This is also going to host our yield farm, our games, and then eventually it's going to start to also host like an NFT game and everything like that on this website. I think eventually we may... I don't mind having the two websites. It's just that with our normal BODA website, it's in WordPress and everything has to be manually updated. So it's not automated. So I have to log in here every single day and I have to update all the details. I know there's been a bit of feedback in the Telegram chat as of late about our website and to try and change it and jazz it up or make it look better, add different things. It's not the, look, I admit it's not the fanciest website. It doesn't have all the cool moving graphics and, you know, fancy buttons and things like that. But for me, personally, a lot of the tokens that have the shiny, ooh la la, gimmicky buttons and gimmicky crap on the websites, most of them have like rugged, right? Most of them have rugged and died off. A website's a website to me. Again, but this is my personal opinion, okay? Is that as long as the website's here and the information's here, I don't really care too much about the fancy buttons. And maybe it's just me too. I just like the simple sort of nature of it. Like we've added this thing here that just does a little bit of movement. But again, it's this doesn't automatically update, so I'm having to manually log in, which I'm pretty sure this has gone up now. But I have to manually log in and update this all the time. Like we've got, so we're listed on. So, and we'll keep adding to this as well, but we'll have where we're listed on. And then eventually when these are basically like partnerships anyway. So like with SokuSwap, like we're connected with them now. So we're whitelisted with them. So we've got whitelisted with MDEX as well. And then you've got all the different charting websites. We've got Moonscan as well, who've added us. So you can check them out with checking your own BSD earnings on there as well as a secondary to our tracking website. I've got LunarCRUSH there, Wild Watcher. Got our tokenomics, our taxes all on here now too. We've got our roadmap. which I think I might have to add some more things to. But we definitely smashed our 2 million cap, our goal, which is crazy because I only just added that like the other day. So we've got a few more that are coming up. Obviously, roadmap. Here's the ugly mugs again. But we've got an extra team. So we've got Matt and Steph, who are on our team as well. So they're the 2 extra people on our team. Then we've got our videos, and then we've got all our facts. Okay. Now, like I said, eventually it would be ideal to have this website as our main. But I'm also personally not opposed to still having the 2 different websites, just with the amount of information. I think if we only had this one website, we'd either have a massive side menu to try and fit all this information in, or we'd have to have like a Git book or something, right? Where it would take you to another site, like a Git book document site. So anyway, but that's something we'll think about in the future. Fact page is something that we keep telling people to go to if you have any issues, have any questions, blah, blah. And then you just click on these. If you're on mobile, you click on them as well. But I highly recommend for everyone to go through the fact. If you've got any questions, you're stuck, you'll find majority of your troubleshooting answers in here, right? Especially when people get stuck on slippage and things like that. How do I check BUSD? How do you earn it? All that sort of stuff. How do you interact with us? So majority of your troubleshooting questions will be in here. But again, don't hesitate to ask us in Telegram or Discord if you do get stuck on things, especially if they're not covered in here. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
No, I mean, I think the website's pretty great. We have had a couple of people say, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if it did this or did that, like some flashy stuff like you were talking about?" And I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule, personally. And like I would much rather have a functioning token that gives people, great rewards and doesn't break, than like a website that's got flashy stuff. We can hire a developer to do a flashy website later, But
Yep.
I think we have all the information out there and it's useful. The app works. I mean, it does everything that it's supposed to do, and they're adding a lot of cool new stuff to it. That manual claim button, I know at least one of my friends is like super stoked about that, because he'll be like, "Oh, I just want that money before I go to bed," and I'm like, "Bro, it'll be there in the morning." And he's like, "Yeah, but I just want it."
Well,
Like, okay, well, there's manual button is for him for sure.
Well, and what's also good about that is that'll bump the queue line faster as well. If you've got more
That's
people
true.
claiming it, that moves it.
Yes, that is true. See, this is why you guys are wrong, because then I just forget that information. So that's coming. Now let's go to our green paper, which is what we're supposed to be talking about today. Let me pop it up.
Green too.
It is green. It is green. Had I made this full screen, by the way? There's a way.
Environmentally friendly too.
I think it's view. It's in the view menu, or you try slapping F11, see if that does it for you.
Oh, full screen mode. Hey, there we go. Oh yeah. All right, this will work. Okay, this will work. It'll just go on page seconds. Cool. All right. So this is the highlight of our AMA. It's only taken us an hour and a bit to get here, but we're here. All right. So for those watching the recap, we'll have that in segment time bits in the description anyway. All right. So you won't miss out. Obviously, if you got here right now and you're hearing me say this in the recap, that's probably because you clicked the little time indicator button in the description. This is our BODA token green paper. It is a white paper, but we want to be different. We want it to be, green's one of our primary colors. And we think, everyone's got white papers. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You got a white paper. That's cool. But do you have a green paper? Right? I bet you don't have a green paper.
You might have papers for your green, but you don't have
Whoa,
any green papers.
Whoa, true. That's very true.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, now this is going to be updated, and it's always subject to change, okay? There is a disclaimer. these are for legal reasons, obviously, as well. But the content in here is always subject to change. Just like anything, when we develop new things, when we build new things, things change. Just like they do in real life, things change. So keep that in mind, that this is all informational. What we've put in here is as accurate as it can be for now, but like I said, things will change. So table of contents. So right now, the entire green paper is 29 pages. It might end up being a little bit more once we start like going into more finer detail with like the yield farming, the staking, the things like that. But for now, it's 29 pages. All right. So we've got the introduction bit. All right, I won't bore you with this, but once we'll publish this today, so everyone will be able to get to read it themselves. Now, this is just the intro bit. You know, you've got to explain it, explain what we do, explain what's going on. And then we've added the history. So we've added the history for those who are obviously new to our community and haven't been here since V1. So they don't know the backstory. And we think it's a good idea to just have this in here. You know, some people might be like, well, oh, whoops. Some people might be like, well, what's the point of bringing up the past when, you know, that's the past, and what's in the past should be left in the past. And, you know, you can be right in having that outlook. But it also, to me personally, is that I think if we explain to people the history and the backstory of where we started and what we did and how we developed and where we've come to now, I personally feel like it's also going to give a lot of comfort to especially new investors who come in. They can understand that we're just not a token that just threw up the contract and, you know, launched this 3 weeks ago, right? We've been around for a while. So that's my take on that. You guys?
Yeah, I
Anything to
think
add?
transparency is always better than trying to hide something. Like, you know, again, that's what attracted me to BODA to begin with, was how transparent you were. So I think continuing that tradition, great idea.
Yes, I agree. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. All right. Tokenomics page. So we'll go through, you know, again, you guys will be able to read this when we post this online, but it goes through the display, goes through how the fees are distributed, yada, yada, yada. And then we go through anti-whale, anti-dumping mechanics. So we explain to everyone, you know, which, again, existing holders already know. We have a buy limit currently of 10 trillion. We have a sell limit currently of 1 trillion. And the sell limiter we can change in the future. What else? Oh, yeah. So this whale limiter, right? So again, it's explained that we're trying to limit the amount of whales that can enter into BODA V2, because the biggest risk, as we've explained in the green paper, is whales can price manipulate a token. And it's one of the biggest things, especially with large cap, like even in Bitcoin, right? So there's Bitcoin whales out there who just keep pushing the price down when they want to, when they feel like, nah, I'm just going to keep, you know, pushing this price down. And then they try and manipulate this whole scenario to create, you know, to create dips or create FUD, where then everyone else starts selling off Bitcoin, and then these whales just get back in, and they get back in real cheap. And then they create a FOMO pump, and then they wait for that FOMO to get really high, and then those whales dump again, and they just rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat, and you never get anywhere. And I've seen so many like smaller tokens get stuck in this trap, where there's just that one whale who owns like 20% or something of the supply, and they're just constantly rinse and repeat. Like they get to a new all-time high, and then they get smashed, and the market cap drops 50%, and then they have to spend like another 3 months like building back up, and they get to the all-time high again, and then the whale dumps again. Like it's just this constant thing. So that's one reason for that. The sell limiter, again, we can change that in the future, but that'll also be a community decision. So we won't just willy-nilly go and change that without consulting everyone in the community first. Anything you guys want to add to that?
I think it's pretty great. I love it. The the anti-whale. I mean, we already saw it in action a couple times where people came in and tried to pump and dump, and it didn't work. It worked out disastrously for that person that tried to do that, which is exactly what it was designed to do. So it was a test in action in real time. Hate to see it for that guy, but it was nice for the holders.
Yep. it was very good. It was very, very, very cool to see that in action. All right, the next one is slippage. Huge question that a lot of people are getting stuck with, especially new people. Now, this again, we'll go through, explain the slippage to people. The basic things that you need to understand is that slippage is it's a determined system that goes through the shifts of price volatility. So it's not a fee, it's a buffer. So it's a buffer that goes, all right, let's say you want to buy right now, but then someone got in like 1 second before you and bought a shitload and the price jumped 20%. So if you put a slippage in at 15%, and I'm talking literal seconds here, like within seconds, you've put an order in, but someone else has put in one before you, and the price shifts 20%, then unfortunately yours is going to fail. And so you'll still get charged a gas fee, but you won't get a purchase. And so that's the whole slippage thing. So the slippage isn't charging you the 15%. It's just saying, hey, here's a buffer. So in the event that what you're trying to buy for now, the price increases, well, if it increases by 15%, well, then the swap mechanics would just go, all right, well, we'll move that price up higher so you can still buy in on that transaction. Now, with the explanation here, so we've used Pancakeswap as an example. So their functions here is they have a slippage, right? They have a swap trade fee. So every DEX has its own trading fee. So Pancakeswap, PooCoinSwap, like MDEX, all them, they have a small fee. Pancakeswap, I didn't actually realize they've put theirs up. They never used to be this high, but their latest document says that their swap fee is actually 0.25% for every swap. So it also helps to shop around. I haven't actually found PooCoin's one. It's probably out there somewhere, but I haven't found their one. MDEX gives you discounts if you hold MDEX tokens, but I think theirs is, about the same, about 0.2% or something. Now, you've got to also factor in the gas fee. So the gas fee of a swap is paying the network. So a gas fee doesn't come to us. It doesn't come to any token developer or any token team. The gas fees go to the network. So when people complain as well about, I have to pay like $4 in gas, well, that's not us. That's not on us. That's on the network. Lately, I've noticed it has been going up, the gas fees, and that's because more people are using Binance Smart Chain. It's a reason why, all these shit coins keep getting launched and they scam while they rug and they keep blocking up the network, and that's a personal pet peeve of mine in crypto. But they all contribute to gas. So I think that just, like I said, like we've made that in bold too, just to reiterate the fact that the slippage doesn't charge you fees, because that's a common problem that we've been seeing a lot, especially in Telegram, where people are going, I don't want to get charged 15% to buy this token. It's like, no, mate, like you're not. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, and also I don't know what Pancakeswap's done, but the slippage is now down to 26%. So hooray! Anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that I think you covered it pretty well, but there's a lot to be said for taking the time to educate yourself on crypto, and learning about some of this stuff and what slippage means and stuff like that. Because every token is different. you know, the way that the functions are built and stuff like that. So one token, you know, you might need a little higher slippage, even though you only get charged a certain fee. And that's just because of how the Pancakeswap router treats the functions that are built in. And any rewards token, you're going to have a little higher slippage, is my understanding. So at least we're putting it out here on Front Street. Like I said, I just looked through another crypto's white paper not too long ago to help answer a question, and I didn't see anything about slippage in there at all. I guess people just have to guess.
Yeah, and use SafeMoon for example. Their slippage is still like 15%. So, you know, and they're a huge token. Like, they're in the $1 billion market cap. And you don't hear people complain about that. So, I mean, yeah. All right, so ready for the next page? Next page is... Oh, why does it do this to me? Here we go. Okay. What is known now as the new term rebasing, which has always been a buyback and burn, but it's just another thing in crypto that everyone's starting to use rebasing as the replacement word for buyback and burn because, you know, buyback and burn's getting old. We're going to do manual rebasing as we touched on earlier in the AMA today. So the manual rebasing is, again, like I said earlier, it's better for us. Well, I think it's better not just for us, it's better for any token to do this manually. As we touched on earlier, if you keep doing it automatically, it's going to go to 0, and there's no point in that. Now, the distribution, so we'll have that 1.5%, and then we'll also have the extra BUSD that we'll do back in the buyback. So everyone will get the rewards back, as we mentioned earlier in the AMA. I think I covered most of it actually in the earlier one. I haven't done I didn't decide. I was in two minds about doing a diagram for this one. But I think it's like, to me anyway, I think it's pretty simple to understand. But if anyone in the community has any feedback on the green paper, definitely let us know. Let us know in the Telegram Discord or just contact us, because we're, you know, always open to the feedback, and, you know, whatever we can do to help people try to understand it a bit better is always great. But basically, you know, like it's very, very simple. It's a buyback and burn. We do it manually, and then the question I think a lot of people have is with how does, you know, especially burning supply have like a sudden impact on price. Now, the sudden impact on price is from our buybacks, but the long-term impact on price is from reducing supply. So there's no guarantee that reducing supply will give a price increase straight away. But over time, the less supply you have, right, it becomes a more finite resource. It becomes a rarer resource. So it's like, you know, I guess running out of oil and stuff, right? So the less oil there is, the more expensive it gets. And so I shouldn't be... this is an environmentally friendly paper. I shouldn't be comparing this to oil. But I think you get the gist.
All I know is when I heard this term, I was like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that kind of party, man. Oh, wait, you didn't say freebasing. You said rebasing. My bad.
Oh, yeah. Yes, no, definitely different. Definitely different. I think this is better than... well, I've never done freebasing, but I think this is better than freebasing.
This is probably better, yeah. It's probably a better idea.
It's probably healthier for you too.
Free BUSD versus smoking my kneecaps off. One or the other. Probably better than free BUSD. Oh my god.
Good segue into the next. Oh shit! Me.
I'm gonna be banned from all future AMAs.
Oh no, it's good fun. So the reward protocol. All right, so this one is a bit of a lengthy one. Again, I didn't put diagrams in there, but we can try and work out diagrams if people prefer that sort of stuff. again, me personally, I think it's, it's very straightforward. If you can read, you should be able to understand it. Now, with the protocol, right? One of the big questions that keeps getting asked about this is with the reward system is how many tokens do I need to have to earn and how much do I earn off how much I hold? Now, with that question, there is no specific answer to that. And here's why. So, over time with the manual rebasing, right, is that when we reduce the supply, it reduces your dividend share. So because these are dividends, and the way the dividends work is that a portion of the share of the stock that you hold is a percentage of what the payout's going to be. So say if you own shares in Apple, and then Apple's company revenue goes, all right, well, we're going to give out 2% of our entire yearly revenue, like a few $1 billion or whatever, to every shareholder. And then so they divide that $2 billion up between, let's say, for example, 100,000 shares, blah, blah. And then each share is worth a fraction of that amount, right? So right now, we have 700 trillion tokens in supply. So the dividend calculation roughly works out to be it's one of a 700th trillionth, right? I think I've said that correctly. When we reduce the supply, so when we do the buyback and burns, if we reduce the supply, and let's say, for example's sake, we end up burning 100 trillion tokens, we take that down to 600 trillion, so then your ratio now, it decreases, but your earnings increase. So now your single token is worth more of the share of the circulating supply, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I hope it makes sense to everyone else in the chat. But ask questions in the chat too if you get confused by this while we're going through it. Otherwise, obviously, if you're watching the recap, ask us later. Now, that's why as well with the rebasing, it has that advantage of increasing your earnings. Now, right now, if you're holding, let's say if you're holding 1 trillion tokens and you're only getting a certain amount of dividends right now because we're at a 700 trillion token supply, but then you keep holding on to that 1 trillion tokens that you've got, and then when we do the manual rebasing or the manual buyback and burn, and the supply shifts and it gets lower, your now 1 trillion tokens actually increases in the dividend portion. So you'll start getting more rewards for still holding the same amount of tokens. So there's an option for people who, understandably, because not everyone's in a financial position to keep buying more and more tokens, right? So if you're happy just to invest and get 1 trillion tokens, and then that's all you want to hold, you can know that when we do the manual rebasing or the manual buyback and burn, that over time, even holding that set amount will get better and better. Like it'll increase over time. So that's another factor that we've got into it. This is where, again, the other benefit comes into that manual buyback and burn, is that you get a benefit of your dividend portion increasing, but the ratio decreases. And it was very confusing trying to write that too, because it's like your fraction decreases, but your rewards increase.
Well, it is a confusing concept, but I think the big takeaway is what you have at the bottom there, the example. It doesn't really matter what the price of the token is in terms of rewards, because if somebody comes along and sticks $1,000 in, it doesn't matter if the token is the current price or all the way up to a penny. When somebody puts $1,000 in, the exact same amount of rewards go out to the holders. Now, the amount of token that you have is going to change in terms of the rewards, because as we do that manual rebasing, the total supply will go down, and as the total supply goes down, a larger amount of the rewards go to the same number of tokens. But yeah, I think that's the big takeaway is that, if the price was to tank half tomorrow, which we hope it doesn't, but if it was to, when people buy and sell, it's still the same rewards every day.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's moving on to the next part of the protocol, which is, again, why we can't give specifics in this, because it's a dynamic system and it's constantly changing. It's a dynamic reward protocol, which is, again, something different, right? Because other tokens are offering, well, you get the same payout every 60 minutes, blah, 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 whatever they're doing, right? But that's not a system that, in my opinion, is going to give you, more money, especially long term, and the more volume we get as well. All right. And it also, in my opinion, doesn't really protect against a bear market scenario. So like Dave said before, is if the price of BODA itself changes. So let's say you put in $1,000 today, and then something happens, again, touch wood, it doesn't, but something happens and the market cap drops 50%. So now your $1,000 investment is only worth $500, right? However, your token amount is the same. And so if we still get $1,000 buys at a time, right, not only is that going to push the price, the market cap price, and the price of your investment back up, so your $500 will end up going back to $1,000 worth because people are buying back in, but then you're earning dividends off that, off your token share. So in terms of price too, so I know people are still in this mindset of constantly checking the price chart and constantly pinging the price bot in Telegram. But we need to also get the community, and this is where everyone in the community can help each other out, is to also get people off the habit of focusing so much on the price of token and focusing more on trade. And so getting people in and getting people buying and trading. And look, as much as we don't want people to sell, like, selling's a natural, healthy part of any market ecosystem. And people are entitled to take profits and do all that sort of stuff, right? And, again, with the selling, we get more out of it as holders. We get more BUSD from people selling anyway. So that whole ecosystem, buying and selling, is part of the trade volume, which is helping all of us to earn the rewards. And so if we can get more people, again, thinking of it's about your token share, and it's not about the price of BODA, but it's more about the trading volume of BODA. And personally, I think it's a better way to especially sustain the rewards, when we get to a bear market scenario, because we are going to get there. And also, just a note on that is, because we are paired with BNB, the minute the price of BNB drops, our market cap in dollar value will change. Our pairing equivalent for BNB, so for amount of BODA versus BNB, that doesn't change. So let's say let's say if 100 BODA V2 was worth 1 BNB, well, if the price of BNB drops to $200, it's still going to be 100 BODA V2 for 1 BNB. Like, that's still going to be the same. It's just the dollar value will change because BNB's dollar value changed, not because our dollar volume changed, right? So people have also got to understand that too. So, like, again, when a bear market scenario comes, if BNB price crashes by half, then it's going to look like our market cap dropped by half, but in reality, it hasn't changed in the pairing price. And so, again, that trade volume will still get us rewards, right? It'll still get us that 6% and that 13%. So for the next page, I don't know why it's lagging. There we go. So we go into in depth about the percentages. And so there's a bit of confusion. When we first started advertising this, we said that there's 19% dividend rewards. So it's up to 19%, and there's no false what? Sorry, I just got distracted by chat. Someone note that one down because we'll go back and answer that one in a second. So with the rewards, they are 19% if they're combined. So if you get a buy and sell, actually, did I cover this in the next page? I think I covered this in the next page. Anyway, so if you get a simultaneous buy and sell, it's 19%. But then if you get stacked, right? So if you get stacks of purchases, that will stack up. That might actually be something that we need to add. Sorry, I might have to write that note down because I thought I covered that as well in here. But anyway, we'll go back to it. All right, sorry. So now in this description here, or in this details here, now we go through how do the rewards cycle out. So with the rewards cycling out, they are automatic, but again, there needs to be trading for that automatic cycle to come out. It's limited because of the blocks, the transaction blocks. So each transaction block can only handle a certain amount of transactions in one payment under the one gas fee. So that gas fee, like when you do the swap and everything, it's also taking part of the BODA fee to then swap for gas to then pay out everyone's dividends. But each block can only handle, I think it's about 22 or something, or 24 transactions at the most in one block. So in this, we describe the cycles from our testing and obviously being live as well. On average, it's 16 transfers per trade. So per buy and sell, there's a cycle of 16 pending rewards payments. So what will happen is, obviously we've gotten past the first buy order because we're now live, okay? But for this example scenario, imagine that we just launched and we just went live. So that first buy order comes in, and that 6% then goes to the dividend smart contract, where then that amount is added to the queue for everyone. The second buy order adds another 60 into the contract, but then it flushes out 16 cycles, right? So up to 16 cycles of payments. And then third one goes so on, and then a sell adds and it goes so on and so on. And so that's how it flushes out. Now, I've been doing a lot of testing. I figured out too that even with the buy, even if you throw in like a $4, $5 buy, or not even that, you can even throw in a $1 buy, but every little buy will still flush out 16 payments, or up to 16 payments. So you can do little cheeky like $4 buys here and there, and it'll keep flushing it out. But again, ideally, once, we've been getting a lot of trade volume lately anyway, so I think everyone's been getting paid out, probably every hour and a half, every 2 hours or so, just based on how much trading we've had in the last sort of 4 days. But that's ideally what's going to happen is when we have constant trading where people are trading every single minute of every single day, this cycle is not going to be a bit of an issue, in my opinion. It's not going to be an issue because it'll just keep cycling through. You can imagine a transfer every single minute. That's 16 payments every single minute cycling through. Yeah, I think people end up probably getting paid out like every half hour. Probably less than that.
It'll be nice to see.
Oh yeah, getting payouts like every 2 minutes. So we've added here. So there will be a manual claim button as we touched on earlier in the AMA. All right, for people who want to skip the queue. Again, as I just said, once we get a lot more trading happening, that manual claim button will probably rarely get used. But that's what that one's there for. All right. So the reward earning is limitless. Oh, actually, just quickly to touch back on this stacking queue as well. A thing to note is also, so from every trade, that percentage goes back into the stack of the queue. Now it's adding on top of your other queue. So if you've got, like say, you've got trades coming through and it keeps stacking queues, so you'll get your first payout, but then there'll actually be another underlying payout in the next queue. Now, that actually doesn't show up on the dividend tracker website because the API only tracks what's next. It can't track forwards, so it can't track what's next after next after next. So when your queue is cycled through, then you'll get the next queue that's stacked on top of your queue gets added on. I know that sounds as confusing as all hell, but long story short is if you sell and you've already got some pending queues, you lose. You lose whatever's pending because what happens when you sell is those dividend tokens. So for every buy that you have, you get the equivalent of dividend tokens. So if you buy 1 trillion BODA, you get 1 trillion dividend tokens sent to your wallet as well to track your BUSD. If you sell, so even if you sell 500 billion tokens, so half of your holdings, 500 billion of those dividend tokens get taken out of your wallet. So you're only left with those 500 billion tokens, right, to equally match. And so what can happen is if you've got other queues still lined up, you actually cut yourself off from them. So there's another incentive to hold longer. And so for those who are new as well and who newly buy in, people might also notice that if they first buy in and within the first few hours, they might only be earning like 30 cents or $1 or something really small. But then after a few days, and I've already seen people mention this in Telegram, after a few days, what will happen is they'll start to go, oh, now I'm starting to get like, $3, $4, $5 because you've held and your queues are stacking up, if that makes sense. So more trading coming in and then it's stacking and then it's adding to the stacks and then now you start to get what you're getting because you've also jumped in the middle of the queue as well, right? So what you've bought in, your fraction of percentage, you've only just started. And so it takes a bit of time for those queues to stack. Yeah, it's very hard to explain that one without it hurting your brain.
Yeah, and that's why the white paper wasn't available on day one, because it took a while to write.
Yes, it did. It took I think I'm still recovering from writing this. It's just even trying to read it now, it's like, my brain hurts. Okay. Right. So this page. Going through the rewards, they're limitless. And I know that sounds really extreme, and it sounds crazy, and it sounds like it's too good to be true, and we thought it was too good to be true as well. But as we've been seeing, this thing's working like a dream. Every day is a freaking dream when we wake up with more BUSD in our wallets. So this is limitless on the factor of trade volume. So again, as long as we keep having trading happening every single day, we will keep having rewards. Now, I'm confident that we'll get to a point where we're doing at least $1 million trade or more in volume a day, which is not unreasonable because there are a lot of tokens out there already that are doing way more than this volume per day. Like there's tokens out there that are doing, like 5 million or 10 million volume per day, right? So let's say, for example's sake, we get to $1 million trading per day. Now, for this example, let's say you've got people buying in, so you've got $1 million coming in buying, but then you've also got people selling because that's how market works, right? People buy and sell. So let's say you get an equal pair of people buying in and then people selling out. So then there's your rewards there. So if we could, you could be, not you personally, sorry, the dividends rewards could be piling up to 190,000 BUSD in a day, right? And then the second example, just to try and give a mindset or an idea of, let's say there's lots of people buying and then there's only a small portion of people selling, because that, in my mind, would be a lot more ideal, again, because we don't want too many people selling. Again, even though we do get a bonus reward for selling, like at the end of the day, when sales happen, it reduces our overall investment value. Okay, but let's say we do this, and then we've got 5 million of buys coming in a day, and then we only have a million of sells. Okay, and then you might be thinking again to yourself, well, hang on, but I get a bonus if people sell, so I kind of want, like, if we got $5 million of buys coming in, then I also want $5 million worth of sells, right? Because that's going to give me more. But that's not sustainable. That's not economically stable in a market environment if we consistently had equal buy and sells. And so in this scenario, like I said, and I know that it's like sounds huge numbers, and you might be thinking, oh, this is just like way too inflated. This is, not right. These are just examples given, and I've taken these examples based off other tokens and just doing research and looking at what their daily volumes are. So in my opinion, this is not unreasonable based off of what other tokens and other reward tokens, like other ones that do Cake and Dogecoin and USCD and ETH, like wrapped ETH rewards and BNB reward tokens, like they're all doing these numbers, if not higher. So, you could imagine if we're pulling in like $500,000 in rewards a day into the dividends, and that's being split among everyone, well, that's huge, right? That's massive. And then this one, oh yeah, and then we just touch on again the benefits of having BUSD as your stability token. So you don't have to worry about the price shifting. So for example, if you were in a token that gives you BNB rewards, then as I mentioned earlier, is if the price of BNB were to drop 50%, well then all that BNB you've just earned as passive income has now just also shrunk 50% in value. Whereas, obviously with BUSD, whatever you're earning now and into the future, that BUSD, you don't even have to move it if you don't want to, right? You could just hold on to it, you could hoard it, and then, wait till you've got a certain amount and then move it. I know a lot of people have been actually swapping their BUSD back for more BODA so they can earn more BODA. Like there's different things you can do with it, but you can have that comfort and security knowing that the price of BUSD will always be $1 to the US dollar, I should say. So you don't have to stress too much about being like, oh, like I need to go sell this like straight away because tomorrow it might drop. Like the price of BUSD might dip tomorrow. Like that's not going to happen. Anything you guys want to add to that?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well.
All right, cool. All right. Come on.
I did real quick. If we want to answer Erhan's question, I think I hopefully got his name right. He was asking, is it possible to delete the BODA BUSD dividend tracker token from Trust Wallet? And the answer is yes. You can delete that. It won't change your BUSD rewards at all. Trust Wallet is just a way to view the blockchain, so you can actually you could delete BODA out of there if you wanted to, and you would still earn the same rewards. You just wouldn't be able to see how many tokens you have. It wouldn't make any difference at all. You can buy 100 Dogecoins and then delete them out of your wallet, and they'll still be on the blockchain if you ever add them back later. So good question.
Well, it's also possible to send the dividend tracker token, but you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that. No, you definitely don't. You definitely don't. Yeah, don't touch it. You can, exactly like Dave said, you can hide it. So hide/remove. I think most of the functions now say hide. You can hide that from your wallet. I don't even know why Trust Wallet is even bringing that up, to be honest, because when I was testing it, I had to manually add BODA V2, but anyway, whatever. Yeah, that's just the tracker token. So like Dave said, just hide it. The tracker token is paired to move with the BODA V2. So don't send the tracker token by itself. If you want to move, move BODA V2 to another wallet, move the BODA V2 because the tracking dividends will follow it. So the tracker dividends will move out of that wallet and follow the transaction of that BODA V2 to the next wallet. Otherwise, if you send the dividend tracker by itself, you're going to mesh it up and I actually don't know where it ends up because I haven't even like tried to test that because I know it's going to break something. Okay, all right. Reward tracker website. Again, work in progress, but just a brief, thing, telling everyone what they already know. You can check the tracker, you can track the time, positions, yada, yada, yada. As I mentioned earlier, the reward tracker will also host our yield farm, lottery, games, token minter, and token locker. All right, so the next page. Oh, why does it? There we go. Okay. So, marketing and development. When marketing? Question we get all the time. We've covered this in the green paper, okay? The fees that we get in that goes towards marketing, as we just touched on earlier in the AMA, we want return investment, and then we give examples of things that we're using for marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I won't bore you with this stuff. I've just realized that we're almost on the 2-hour mark, so we won't go through this for too long. Yield farm, again, this will be updated once we have a yield farm done. But the yield farm is in the building process. We have to make a new smart contract for that, for all that to work. Now, with yield farms, basically, you put in a pair. So you'd put in a liquidity pair. So you put in BODA V2 and BNB into Pancakeswap's liquidity. You then get the LP tokens. You then stake the LP tokens. And in return, you'll get rewarded with BODA V2 tokens, right? Now, when you do that, though, you won't earn dividends off your staking or your deposit. So yield farming is basically staking LP pairs. And we'll touch on to what staking is in the next page. So when you're staking the pairs, you won't earn dividends while it's staked in there, but you will get extra BODA V2, right? So there's a decision that everyone as the individual has to make is that, all right, I won't earn dividends whilst I'm in the yield farm, but I'm also getting more BODA V2. And so there's an option there, right, where you want to get more BODA V2 because then when you withdraw that out and get more of that back in, you can end up earning more BUSD. Or it's up to you if you do want to take that and be like, okay, well now I've increased my investment, so I've got more portfolio value as well. But ideally, we want to encourage people to use the yield farm to get, instead of getting more BODA V2, and as the price goes up, it's going to be more expensive, right? So we want to help, again, we're here to help the community as well and help everyone, is that if you get more BODA through staking, it's almost like getting for free, right? Technically you're not getting for free because you've obviously have to buy BODA or have BODA V2 to begin with. But that's the concept there. So it's a bit of a reward system. It's a bit of an extra bonus. But just, again, individuals have to make their own decision as to, do you want more tokens for essentially free, but you just have to not earn any BUSD at that time off the portion you stake. So an example is you could stake half of your investment. So if you've got a few trillion tokens, well, you put half of that into the yield farm, but you still keep the other half. So you still earn BUSD off the other half that you have in your wallet, and then you just earn more BODA V2 off the other half that's in the yield farm. So that's an example. Again, it's just an example. It's not any advice or any suggestion. It's just an example of that. We'll go into more detail when that's done, when that's out. With LP yield farming, though, is another thing that's also been brought up is our liquidity. This will add to our liquidity as well, whilst it's staking in there. So this will also help with our liquidity. We'll also have other pairs where people can put in BUSD pair BODA. We'll probably even have a cake pair BODA, etc., etc. So that'll be stuff that we'll cover in the future once it's done. Staking pools. Staking pools will be stuff like stake BNB, so just one token. So stake BNB to get more BODA, right? Or stake cake to get more BODA, and etc. etc. With staking pools, or even the yield farming, pardon me too. But with staking as well, we can go to other tokens, we can collab with other tokens and say, hey, do you want us to add your token in there? So let's say, for example, you've got, I don't know, let's say, okay, SafeMoon, right? Let's say we go to SafeMoon and then say, hey, guys, do you want to allow people to stake SafeMoon into our pool and to get rewarded with BODA? And so we'll get all these people coming over, staking their SafeMoon, they'll get BODA. And then what that does is helps to increase our holders. So people who hold other tokens who've not touched BODA, right? And they might not, and people might be like, oh, I don't really want to buy it. But if I could stake my existing token and then get some BODA, yeah, I might do that. And the benefit for us and for all of us as existing holders in the community is that we will get new holders. And then ideally, they will also join our active community and see how fucking awesome we are, excuse my French, and they'll hang around and they'll buy more. So
yeah, and even if they don't, it's great for volume. There's a lot of people that stake tokens, or and then they just turn around and sell them, and then they staking and they sell and they stake and they sell. Just that volume. I mean, because keep in mind that every time they sell, they're leaving 20% behind. So hopefully they'll be smart and figure that out.
Yeah,
and that's what the white paper's for, to let you know what's going to happen if you sell or buy.
And the yield farming is like another layer for patient holders.
Mm-hmm.
Another layer of rewards.
Yeah, and it also adds the whole utility use case, blah blah blah, that people also ask. So that adds on to it. Actually, touching on utility, our first utility is the reward system, is the dividend. Okay, all right. So the NFT. So we've got our first ever NFT made by Tina Cetric, who's an awesome community member. And he's made this for us for free, which is amazing because he's a BODA holder. And he's given us 50 to give away to everyone. So with this first NFT, so it's one of many, but this is the first one. And the concept behind this is because, we've always had a bit of a space theme. And so we like the idea of space. And so we've got a BODA planet. Now, this is just a still image, but the actual NFT is an animated GIF, whatever you want to say. So there's videos out there on our social media, etc., etc. Now, this concept also, though, throws in to a potential metaverse. So this is why it's really exciting to actually get your hands on this very first NFT, because this is like the first draft, basically, or the first outline of what our concept design is of a metaverse. We want to have like a planet metaverse. Again, it's all subject to change as well, so just bear in mind with that, because this is all, it's still in development. But this is something that we want to come up with, and it's going to be in 2022, because all this stuff takes time. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and get done overnight. But creating a metaverse is something that's going to add utility and add something different and something new to BODA, which is going to be really incredible. But the idea is like just going off this. So this is allowing us to visualize as well. So visualizing a metaverse. So for example's sake, let's say we take this planet. And so now we've got a visual concept of this planet. And then we could metaverse this planet where we could have parcels of land. So you could have sections of this planet where you could actually buy, right? So you could buy plots of land, right? And you could buy that with the BODA token. And then you can then trade and on-sell that. So you could on-sell your plots of land to other people, right? So like this is how NFT metaverses work. People buy plots of land and then they settle them, just like real-life investments in land. Now, the other concept of the metaverse is, though, that you could build in the metaverse. So check out Decentraland, or their token ticker's Mana, but check out Decentraland for an example. Decentraland, there's a whole bunch of other NFT metaverses as well, but Decentraland does a thing where they sell plots of land, but then people go in and they build things. It's almost kind of like a Minecraft kind of thing where they go in there and they build these little virtual worlds, and people can put on their VR headsets and they can actually go in and explore the world. And I've seen stuff in Decentraland where people have built like art galleries. I think I might be wrong, but I think that Marshmallow DJ or whatever. I think he may have done a concert in Decentraland once or something. I don't know. But anyway, there's like people have built like massive stages in there and hosted like, virtual like music concerts, especially during COVID times when everything was locked down. Like that was really taking off in there. So they're just potential ideas of having a metaverse world. And so again, like I said, this is just a visualization concept of having like a planet, right? And having different sections. That also ties into a potential game where we could also have a game world, where we could have a planet game world. It's big. It's a big idea, and we would have to have a proper gaming company to help us with that, which is why I put the date to next year. But to have a game where we could walk around on the planet, right? So I don't know, for me, I've been into like MMOs or like open world games, like Ark, Rust, like things like that. So you could have like an open world game, right? And so we could be in there, and then we could be playing around, and you could be like harvesting little farms and building little huts, and I don't know, like just one of the crazy ideas. But that's something we could do as well. And so again, this NFT is just like the first concept design. So getting your hands on one of these. So what we've done is with this competition or with this giveaway, because we're giving these away for free, is that you just need to be within the top 50 holders, excluding the wallets the Berm wallets, the LP wallets, Dev wallet's not in there because the Dev wallet doesn't have any tokens. I think the marketing wallet's up there, but I think it only has like 1% of the supply at the moment. And then we'll just exclude a couple of team wallets. I don't think anyone on the team, or apart from myself, is in the top 50, I don't think. Well, there might be one other person. But but anyway, you've got a good chance, I think, if you're within like the top, I want to say top 55, I think, of getting it. But as we get closer towards the end of 30th of October, we'll have a better idea as well of who's in that range of that top 50. So you've got until the 30th of October to also get some more BODA if you want to qualify for that. So again, this is, something really awesome to have like the very first concept idea of what we're doing in the future. And again, speculation, but this could be something that's valuable in the future too, because once we do have a metaverse and a game and everything, you can be like, well, I've got the first like concept design of it, for example. Anything else you guys want to add to that?
No, I don't think so. We do have a couple questions in the chat. I wanted to go ahead and knock out quick, just in case those folks have to go.
Yep.
Erhan had a follow-up question about if we would list say BODA listed on Hotbit or something like that, would Trust Wallet holders get rewards? Yeah, that's the question. So the numbers are only in Pancakeswap. So would holders get rewards if we listed in a centralized exchange?
Yeah, no. Centralized exchanges have their own liquidity pools, whilst they still connect to Binance Smart Chain, which is where we get holders from. So every trade that happens on there and people buying and selling on central exchanges will reflect for our holders. Their own liquidity pool is disconnected from the router, so we don't get any dividends at all from that. So it's excluded from all that. We also don't get fees from that. So from like a marketing budget perspective as well, we don't get any fees from whatever's listed on Central Exchange. So it's something that has to be decided as well as a decision, a community decision, as a trade-off of, do we want to have BODA V2 out there on a major exchange, or to get more exposure and to get more trading happening, get more people in? But do we also want to sacrifice not getting rewards? Let's say hypothetically that we list on Hotbit or CoinTiger or Gate.io or one of those exchanges to begin with. And I mention those exchanges though as well because they're where every token starts off as a baseline. Realistically, you can't just go straight well, you can't even go for Binance, to be honest, because Binance is very, very strict. But realistically, you can't really go for like the top exchanges because they have a lot more requirements. But you can go for the smaller exchanges. Now, if we did that, and then let's say those exchanges started pumping millions of dollars a day in volume for us, we don't get any rewards from that. So all of us as holders, lose out on that, as mentioned earlier in the green paper, those millions of dollars, or shares of BUSD. So it's something that everyone has to think about and consider. It's not as simple as going, let's list on a centralized exchange because we'll get lots and lots of money, and BODA will be really, really big and popular and all that sort of stuff. It's not that simple. It's not that black and white. You've really got to think about, how it all works in the back end. And the biggest factor is that we lose rewards. And to me personally, I'd rather just keep having people spend millions of dollars in trade volume, on decentralized exchanges. So Pancakeswap, MDEX, SokuSwap, even 1inch and stuff, like wherever it is, I'd rather people doing that because it means that all of us still get our rewards. But that's my personal opinion. And that's something that has to be decided with the community on what we do with that. But I hope that answers.
I agree. One other question that we had was, where are we at for getting our gold BODA? He's on CoinGecko and CMC, which he's right. Solid gold, guys.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, the CMC and CoinGecko status.
The status is that I have reached out to the CEO of CoinGecko. He did reply. It's very exciting, but he said he'd get his team to look at it, and that's all I've heard. That's all I've got. CoinMarketCap, so with our CertiK audit, which we'll touch on after this, is CertiK are partnered with CoinMarketCap, and I've already talked to the sales guy with CertiK to help us get on CMC with our audit. So once we have an audit done and everything, we should be able to get a bit of a nudge from our sales dude from CertiK to get on CMC. So yes, that is definitely going to be a huge thing when we get on there, because it's a lot of exposure and there's a lot of prestige with being listed on CMC and CoinGecko. But right now, we keep saying to people is that if you're holding, again, not financial advice, but if you're holding back on getting in because we're not listed on there, well, 9 times out of 10, when a token does get listed on CMC or CoinGecko, I mean, you can just look, there's proof on there. You can see they normally double, if not, I'm being pretty bold here, but some of them 10x when they get listed on CoinMarketCap and stuff. So, but again, that's just a opinion. It doesn't mean it's, that's something you should rely on.
Advice.
No. All right, next page. So, Token Minter. All right. So Token Minter, again, we'll update this when we get to it, but basically the gist of a Token Minter, if you just look at DX Sales, for example, check out their website. So Token Minter we'd have an option for people to come to us and let's say they want to launch a token, all right? They don't know anything about coding. We can just give a base template and we can give them the tick box options. Do they want to make a dividend token, blah, 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 whatever. And then we'll just take a fee from people wanting to launch their tokens. Now, I am very, very aware of people misusing this. People have been misusing DEX sales to launch tokens purely for scams. So this is something that we also have to think about and we'll develop as a team about a vetting system just to ensure that people who do come and use it aren't just trying to throw up garbage. For two reasons. One, so they don't scam other crypto investors, but also so they don't clog up the network with just shit that just ends up going nowhere. Token Locker, same thing. Go to DX Sales or Deep Lock or Unicrypt, all them ones. A token locker basically will allow other tokens or even holders of BODA LP or any other LP to lock the LP for a set amount of time. So currently with the BODA's initial LP is locked until 2024, and I've locked that on Deep Lock. So if we had our own token locker, we could have done it within our own locker. But then again, people probably argue that it wasn't decentralized because we control the locker. But anyway, so we'd have our own locker. Lockers can also lock tokens as well. So that's an option that's within a token locker. So people can lock a token. And so this happens a lot too, where tokens launch and they say, okay, well, we've locked up, 30% of the token until 2021, 2022 or 2023 or whatever, to give their community safety and whatever, that the devs won't dump on them or whatever, So they're just examples of a token locker. Again, to be announced. Pardon me. Governance token. Governance token, this will add, again, more community power. So we'll have a governance token where, similar if people have used the Uniswap token, for example, you can vote on protocol changes. So if we have a governance token, then we can submit to the community and say, hey, it's time to change the sell limiter, for example. All right, well, here it is. So you need to have a certain amount of governance tokens, or the tokens there for the BODA V2 to be able to vote. So you need to be holding a minimum amount to be able to have your vote. And so we'll have that portal most likely on the TrackRoute website. And then when we launch protocols, obviously we tell everyone, you go in there, you connect your wallet, and then you just sign a transaction to say, yep, I voted. And that just gives that authenticity as well, that you as a holder have voted, you've signed it. You don't have to spend any tokens. It's not about you don't spend or you don't pay for votes. You don't pay tokens to vote. It's just making sure that you're a holder, similar to stocks as well. So if you own shares in stocks, a lot of companies would do annual, quarterly meetings or whatever, and they would do proxy voting or voting, chairman voting and all that sort of stuff. And as a stockholder, you get to vote for the stocks that you own, right? So that's the governance token. So that'll add more community involvement and also helps take that control factor. It gives more control back to the community. And so that's a reduction of risk as well. So there's a lot of investors out there who go, oh, well, if the dev team have total and absolute control over the token, then that means that there's a risk that they could do whatever they want with it, which is true, totally true. But if we had a governance token, then it would mean that we'd have to have a protocol vote before we push the protocol changes. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool idea.
It's a very, very cool idea. Okay, smart contract responsibility. So that's why we have we want to build a governance token. So smart contract responsibility, we go through the smart contract itself and what at the moment us as a team or our dev wallet can control. So the dev wallet is like the command wallet to push changes to the smart contract. And so these are some of the key functions that we've listed from our smart contract that will have an effect for everyone if we were to change these. So again, this is all community consultation. These are things that we won't just push and change like willy-nilly because we feel like it. So that's just outlining again with transparency what those functions are and what they do. And then we've also got our dev wallet there, so people can check the dev wallet. You can see there's barely any tokens in there. I think I just moved 20 million in there to test something. Now we've got our audit, so we've got Certic coming up. Okay, then we've got all the team stuff, and then we just got a little conclusion blurb, and then we've got our links. So that's it. That's our green paper. So we'll publish that. Yay! We'll publish that.
I got to point out, and I know that this might be lost on some people, but I've looked at a lot of token white papers over the years, and this is a lot of detail, and I know it is a lot of detail, and we went over all the details, so it's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. But it's just all about transparency. I mean, people don't need to know every single thing that's in here to make a decision about whether they're gonna purchase BODA, right? And I think that's important because it's like, that's not the reason for it. The reason you can really be an informed investor and understand what the plans are and what we're going to do, what we want to work on, the priorities and stuff like that. And then things like that, the last page that you were on, all the smart contract functions, you never see that in a white paper. So that's why it's the green paper, guys, because it's better.
That's it. We like the green. Green is good, baby. Green is good. Joey, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, that's good.
All good. All good. All right. So, I thought I had Certic pulled up. Just quickly, we're learning, which I've mentioned a lot, is good at Binance Academy. People, go there. Go learn. Go educate yourselves. Just it's there. It's all there. You can even go up here and you can search. Just find out stuff.
I will add something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, education is king in crypto. So what you're saying with this Binance Academy, that is the best tool for you as an investor to use, especially when you see some random in chat trying to stir up stuff.
Oh, 100%.
It's better to know. Yeah, it's better to know how these things work so you can identify whether this person in chat is deliberately fudding or not.
Guys, we just fucking hit an all-time high again. Like live on the AMA.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy guacamoles! Did someone just put in like 2 lots of 4 BNB? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy moly! Good work.
So yeah. Everybody refresh your BODA app, BODA token app tracker, and see all that beautiful BUSD, and then that person's gonna start earning it too. That's amazing. So,
oh my god!
Very, very excited. Very excited to hit an all-time high during an AMA. Awesome.
Holy crap! So make some noise, chat. Make some noise. Where are ya?
Can we get some claps in the chat? I mean, come on.
Actually, I wonder if we can.
In the channers.
I wonder if is Telegram even going off because I've I muted the notifications on the. Otherwise, I go ding 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 while I'm on live stream. Oh, that's amazing. See, and again, that's benefiting all of us as well, right? So, just touching back on that question, people are going, "Oh, well, how can we trust you?" Et cetera, et cetera. The marketing wallet that collects the fees is excluded from dividends, so that is not earning any extra. And we've done that out of fairness because that is already collecting fees of BODA token. So it would be unfair for that to collect fees and collect BUSD because then we're double dipping, or at least that's our take on it. So just that's something else is that people need to be aware of as well, that we're not double dipping. I mean, we have our own holdings, which even from day one with V1, like we all put our own money into it, and so yes, we have our own holdings, but that's all we're kind of earning the BUSD on is our own holdings. And then obviously the burn wallet, but again that goes back into the community. So this is good. This is crazy. When we hit all-time high, we hit that last week. Well, not even last week. 14th. Oh, is it American?
We just
time?
we keep smashing them. I mean, just look at the chart. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I am not eating 3 ghost peppers.
Yeah, I was. That's. Ask JoJo anything. So when you made that little bet, I'm sure you didn't think that we were gonna hit the. We were gonna drop to zero quite as quick as we did. We all knew it was gonna happen, but I don't think he knew it was. He wasn't prepared with the pepper ahead of time. We'll say that. What's gonna be the follow up? Are you gonna do like some Jackass stuff? Like, hi, I'm JoJo. Hi, I'm JoJo. Welcome to Jackass. Like, was that what? What's the following act on eating a ghost pepper? Because I want to know.
Actually, funny you bring that up. If you go by Telegram chat with Alec, apparently it's driving a Tesla through your house.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh yeah,
well,
that joke. Driving the trucks and was it pickup trucks and Teslas?
Yeah. It's Alex is our number one East Coast ball buster. We love him in the chat. So yeah, keep it coming. He's gonna first he was gonna drive his Raptor over my Tesla. By the way, I don't own a Tesla. The joke was, when I get rich, I'll buy a Tesla. And then he's like, "Oh, I'll buy a Ford Raptor, and I'll run over your Tesla."
Oh, crazy. And we don't forget Jeffrey. Jeffrey's like a massive spammer who keeps getting muted all the time.
We even extended the spam limits. I mean, this guy's he's nuts for BODA, and we love him. We love everybody.
One big happy family.
Even Baldo, you heard that right, buddy. We love you.
Hopefully Baldo does watch this, because it's about time. It's about time. All right. Okay. So quickly on Certic, because I think we've covered everything that we need to go through. Oh yeah, so keep voting on this, guys, too, and girls. I think some douchebags like downvoted us, but if you can vote on this every day. So those who don't know, Certic is a massive auditing company. They are not cheap, by the way. So you have to pay a decent amount of money from. They've partnered with CoinMarketCap and a whole bunch of other companies. Now, ours is under progress. They gave us an estimation of 10 to 12 business days. And I think we're on the 10th day, minus 2, so 8 business days, I think. If you take out weekends. So we're getting there hopefully by next week. I'll email the sales guy again anyway after this, just to get an update. But we're under progress. So this is confirming that they are auditing us, right? This is not a fake, like we're on their official website. This is legit. All right, so this will go through. Now, I negotiated a deal to get Skynet enabled as well. So Skynet is a 24-hour security intelligence. So we got a 12-month deal. So Skynet will be running for the first 12 months, and then we'll decide if we want to pay to renew that. So if we go to the leaderboard over here, all right. So for example, you've got tokens like Pancakeswap. So with the Certic audit, pardon me. Let's give it a secure today. Why not? Okay, so you have security scores and things. So this is what our audit page would look like, okay? And so we'd have our audit, and then there'll be issues and things if we could resolve them or not. We won't know until we get the audit, what scores or what issues we're going to have. I'm fairly confident we're not going to have any critical issues. I think we're pretty safe on that. We've got they give you all these analysis, on-chain scores and everything. Now, when our audit first does come out, though, like I said, they give us options to fix all these things or to try and change these things if we can. So we can help with our sentiments and social. So they track social sentiments as well. So another thing that tracks social sentiments. So another important factor for everyone in the community to keep being out there, social media, keep using the BODA V2, hashtags, everything, right? So the on-chain monitoring, so this is the Skynet stuff. This is the Skynet stuff, isn't it? Yeah. So Skynet will track all, the transfers, the activity, everything like that. And then Skynet also tracks for any alerts. Is it in the Oracle? Anyway, it's somewhere around here. So Skynet, if you go over here, where did Skynet used to come up? Okay, anyway, they used to have a thing where Skynet used to come up and show all the movements, right? So basically Skynet will be monitoring our contract and it'll flag any malicious activity. So if someone keeps trying to like spam a contract or trying to break it or trying to do dodgy stuff with it, Skynet will ping us and be like, like, look out, guys, like someone's trying to do shit to your contract. Skynet will also tell us if people are forking our contract. So because it's on GitHub, we'll actually get notifications if people start trying to basically take our contract to make their own version of the contract. So there's nothing wrong with forking contracts. Like our original BODA was basically a fork, or i.e. copy of SafeMoon. So there'd be nothing wrong if people started to copy our source code and then started making variations to make like their own version, right? And it's healthy. It's like crypto's an open source environment, so that's kind of cool. It would be cool too if people saw the value in our source code and our original source code and then started launching other tokens based off of our tokenomics. Like that'd be pretty cool. But Skynet will also tell us when that happens as well. So we'll have an idea as well of like what's going on, all that sort of cool stuff. So yeah. So anyway, but that's the gist of it. So we'll have a page that looks like all nice and fancy, all nice and sweet. And that's just.
I was skeptical of Skynet at first because I've seen Terminator and it didn't work out too well in that situation. But I think we'll be all right. It's not really like cybernetic intelligence. Or is it?
Or is it?
Take everything over?
I'm surprised they've been able to use that, to be honest. Skynet.
Have you seen this boy?
I'm surprised. Like, I'm guessing Skynet like mustn't be trademarked or anything. I'm surprised like they've actually used that. It is artificial intelligence though. It is. That's what it is. It's AI tracking everything. It's AI monitoring. But yeah, I was surprised myself that they were actually able to use Skynet. But yeah, I guess it doesn't infringe on any copyright or whatever issues.
Or maybe they're paying royalties.
Maybe. Well, I mean, the amount of money that they make off audits, they could probably afford to. There we go. Oh, I shouldn't have looked.
Yeah, Orion Pictures hasn't gotten a hold of it yet.
No.
They didn't find out about Skynet yet, so.
All right, so there's the chart. I was just like, I shouldn't have looked.
Pictures?
Orion Pictures?
Something. Yeah, the company that they made like every movie in the 80s, and then they went out of business or got bought or something.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's another thing we'll keep talking about after the AMA. We won't hold this up too much with random talk about movies. All right, so just going back. All right, so thank you for everyone who's stayed this whole 2 hours and a half. Has been a very long AMA. We had a lot to go through with the green paper. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to today. We will try and do these. It's something that I don't mind doing if we do it every week. But it's also about what people want to know and what content we have. So if we did one every week and didn't really have anything to really share, they just only go for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes and they're kind of like, eh. But if we've got like really important stuff or really good information, like we can do these. And ideally we do want to keep them down to like an hour or so, ideally. But again, today's been a big one. We've got a lot of information. Join our Reddit. We should have more people following our Reddit, I think. I know Dave's a big fan of Reddit.
Love it.
So come join our Reddit. I think we might need to just fix up a couple of things. But yeah, I mean, I admit I don't post on it as much. But come on here, like anyone can post. Okay, it doesn't have to just be us all the time. Like any community member can post on there. You can post your memes on here. Actually, post your memes on here. Post your stuff on here, so then it's easy to find as well. Because I think we've got a meme. We do. See, we've got a meme tab here. So you just like flag it as a meme, and then people can just find it straight away. We'll do some more posts. So I've just been using our BODA token Reddit page to post things on other crypto. So like Crypto Moon, All Crypto Bets, things like that. But if anyone in the community wants to help out with shilling posts, feel free to just even use a similar template, pardon me, from your profile. just make sure you update the little information if you are going to do it yourself. So just go to the tracker website, check how much has been paid out. So I think we're probably at about over $22,000 now. So check all that stuff, like with a lot of these posts, you have to be very, very careful with the formatting and how many links you put in, because a lot of them have auto-moderator bots that will automatically delete posts, and Crypto Moonshot, is the worst. They have the most strictest bot in the freaking world. But all these other ones are pretty relaxed. So you can get on there, do stuff like that. Again, more organic engagement. Like, it's great that we're doing it and it keeps coming from our account. But if we have multiple people doing it, then obviously from a new buyer's perspective, they're like, oh, there's like, there's more people, more accounts talking about BODA, not just like the same thing over and over again. So just keep that in mind. What else do we want to quickly talk about before we finish up?
Shout out Donkey BODA V2 on Twitter. That's right. Donkey BODA V2 has been posting a lot of stuff. Yeah, we appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Shout out.
Yes.
All right, my wife's mad, guys. I gotta go.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out for 2.5 hours. Good work. All right. Yes, Donkey BODA V2. Thanks, man. I keep trying to go through and make sure I like everyone's tweets. Here we are. Look at these. And this is encouragement. So we want everyone to be doing this. So you can go on here. You can go on, find influencers, find people talking about other crypto. So like Donkey's been doing here, right? You go to these other influencers. You go and you talk about BODA. Use the hashtag so our social metrics come up. You got like, all these other people. I think this fella, he's tagged us. So you just get on here. It's very, very simple. Like it takes bugger all of your time, really. Like it's very, very simple. If you've got internet and you're able to watch like movies and Netflix and whatever, then I'm pretty sure you're also very capable of getting on Twitter and getting on social media and doing all this sort of stuff. So that's my task for the rest of the afternoon too, is just going through all these and liking these. So thanks to those who continue to post and continue to share and retweet and like and continue doing all this awesome community effort, because again, organic posting is the best. Like it's just the best for algorithms. So if anyone understands social media as well, you'll understand that organic posts from real people and not bots helps a lot. All right, Jojo, anything else before you finish up?
Yes. With the whole Twitter hashtags, please use hashtag BODAV2, no spaces. That way it'll trigger the V2 and it won't direct people to buying V1.
Yes, that's a very, very good point. So start using that BODA V2 hashtag, please, everyone. And then we can have our own little, if I click on that actually, pardon me. There we go. So if people go to that hashtag too, you'll see everything's BODA. What the hell is that? Okay. BODA. That was weird. But anyway, you get the gist of that. I don't know what that was. It didn't even have any BODA tags, but that's good. All right, then. Well, I guess that's it. All right. Well, thank you again for those who've tuned into the AMA. Thank you for listening if you are joining us on the recap and following up on this. Hope you've at least listened to most of the important information. If you've been skipping through timestamps in the description, like again, just make sure that you stick through, especially through the green paper stuff. Like I just recommend that you stick through that whole segment because some of it is like it can just be confusing. So we're just trying to help with verbally explaining and going through the process because what's written on paper might just understandably, like even reading it myself and writing it myself is very it hurts your brain. But that's what we're here for. We're here for to try and untangle the jargon and the mess. All right, cool. So we're on a new high. Jojo's gonna have to eat a ghost pepper this week, so we'll have that coming up. We have that coming up. We've got lots of exciting things that should be coming up this week. Hopefully, the devs will have the React Node conversion done to the Tracker website, and then we'll have the claim button done, have a whole bunch of things done, back-end stuff. Like, again, we're still working on the developments. Still got the concept design for the future NFTs. We want to make more NFTs, and again, like I said earlier in the AMA, that we want to make our own metaverse and game, but being realistic, that's going to be a 2022 thing. Okay, so just being realistic on that one. But what we can definitely do by this year is the yield farming, the token minter locker governance token. We can do all that this year. And then just trying to get partnerships, trying to reach out to other tokens, just networking basically, just doing that, just to get our name out there. And it's working, like it's working so far. Oh yeah, I jumped on Twitter Spaces with Watchaguru the other night, and like Dave Gockstein and a whole bunch of like massive influencers were in there. So it's just stuff like that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Don't have anything else to really. Yeah, no, that's it. All right. Okay, well, I guess we'll end it there. Thanks again for Jojo and Dave for being on our AMA. First time for them two on here as well. And so I think, definitely with our future AMAs, we'll get more of the team on. And that way, we're going to have these, like, collective roundtable discussions. Actually, yeah, something like a podcast, something might be something. If the community is interested in, we might set up too. Because, yeah, having like just casual chit chat, talking shit about crypto. Yeah, I'm game for it.
Yeah, and I've thrown the idea around as well.
Yes, you have. That's why I brought it up. All right, everyone. All right, well, thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Have a good morning, afternoon, and night, ladies and gentlemen.